If you're just starting out with woodworking, it can feel like you need a huge shop and lots of machinery to make something beautiful. But with Japanese tools, you can make almost anything with just a few tools.
Today I'm going to walk you through the essential Japanese hand tool kit, just the tools you actually need to get started and why each one matters.
These tools are designed to work with your body, and so by developing your hand skills, you'll be amazed at what you can do with just a few simple tools. So if I was starting out with Japanese hand tools today, this is the essential toolkit I would start with. The first tool we have is the Ryoba saw, a double-sided saw with ripped teeth on one side and cross-cut teeth on the other. Japanese saws cut on the pull stroke, which means less effort, more control, and a thinner blade that leaves a cleaner cut. One saw can handle most of your early joinery and dimensioning work. I generally recommend two sizes depending on the type of work you want to do. A 210mm is a great size for small to medium-sized furniture, while a 240mm would be better if you're mostly going to be making larger pieces like bed frames, 8-foot dining tables, etc.
So this is probably the most common of Japanese hand tools you'll see in a Western-style shop. The versatility of this saw is absolutely unmatched.
Next is the Japanese chisel, or nomi.
At first glance, these might seem exactly like their Western counterparts. But for Japanese chisels, the details really matter.
The laminated steel holds an incredibly sharp edge, and the hollow back makes sharpening easier and more consistent over time. I usually recommend two sizes to start with, a 12mm and 24mm. But if you're planning on cutting a lot of dovetails or doing very small, intricate work, I would suggest throwing in a 6mm as well. Chisels and other Japanese tools require a bit of setup and maintenance when first getting started, but don't be intimidated by this. It's quite simple with a little guidance, and well worth the effort. That's why I created a beginner's course on Japanese hand tools to help guide you through the process as well as cutting your first joinery with hand tools. You can find the link in the description below. In order to use your chisels, you'll also need a hammer.
Japanese hammers are only slightly different than their Western counterpart, but again, I think the details really matter.
The genno is also traditionally made of laminated steel, giving it a balanced ease of use that's perfect for striking chisels without tiring you out. You have precise control without excessive force. One side of the hammerhead has a rounded face, and the other has a flat face. These have a few different purposes, but what I find mostly use them for is the flat side for hammering chisels, and the rounded side for a technique called kigoroshi, where the wood fibers are compressed by hammering to get a perfect fit on joinery. There are a few different styles. My favorite is the daruma, or barrel-shaped head, for most of my work. A good size to start with is either a 375 gram or a 450 gram, one just being heavier than the other.
Now these next tools aren't necessarily the most exciting of the bunch, but actually they're some of the most important in the whole toolkit.
Marking and measuring tools. Without accurate layout and a way to measure, you won't get good work. The first tool is some kind of square. The traditional tool is a sashigane. It's flexible and designed more to use with the traditional sumisashi and sumitsubo. But can be used with a pin as well. This can be a little more difficult to get used to, so I often recommend just a regular Western style square if you find the other challenging.
One of the tools that I recommend isn't absolutely necessary, but I think it comes in highly useful and I use it all the time. You can get by with just using your tape measure and a straight edge or a ruler, but this makes all the joinery repeatable across your entire project, which makes things go faster and just makes things a little more efficient.
This is called a kibiki, or marking gauge. I often use mine with a pin instead of the blade that comes with it, but this is a personal preference. I just take the ink from a regular Bic pen and insert it where the blade used to be. Super easy. Japanese tools demand sharpness, but they reward you for it.
You really don't need a complicated setup when you're first beginning. You can do just about everything you need with just this one stone.
A simple 1000 grit stone for shaping and a 6000 grit stone for finishing, and a way to flatten them is a perfect place to begin. I use a 120 grit Atoma diamond plate, but you can also use a piece of glass and sandpaper. Learning to sharpen isn't a separate skill, it is woodworking.
And now for my favorite tool in the whole toolkit. Arguably, probably the best and most highly treasured tool in all of Japanese hand tools, the kanna.
These are truly works of art, and a joy to use when set up correctly. I usually recommend getting one within a range of sizes rather than just one specific size, as I've noticed the availability of them varies based on location. You can use any of those for all purposes of milling, shaping, or finishing. What makes Japanese-style woodworking special isn't just the tools themselves, it's the relationship you build with them. Each tool has a purpose, and learning them intimately is how we're able to make things of beauty with only simple tools. Starting small gives you a greater connection with each tool and keeps it from being overwhelming. If you'd like deeper guidance on using and setting up these tools, I have more resources linked below. Thanks for spending time in the shop with me today.